Hello, everyone. We are back with a brief history of the Empire. We're now in Volume 3, written by Stronach Cathaj III, Imperial Historian. The first volume of this series told in brief the story of the succession of the first 8 emperors of the Septim dynasty, from Tiber Septim I to Kintira II. The second volume described the War of the Red Diamond and the 6 emperors that followed its aftermath, from Uriel III to Cassander. At the end of that volume, it has described how the Emperor Cassander's half-brother, Uriel IV, assumed the throne of the Empire of Tamriel. It will be recalled that Uriel IV was not a septim by birth. His mother, though she reigned as empress for many years, was a dark elf married to a true septim emperor, Plagius Septim III. Uriel's father was actually Katira's consort after Plagius's death, a Breton nobleman named Galavir Lariat. Before taking the throne of the empire, Cassander had ruled the kingdom of Wayrest, but poor health had forced him to retire. Cassander had no children, so he legally adopted his half-brother Uriel and abdicated the kingdom. 7 years later, Cassander inherited the empire at the death of his mother. 3 years after that, Uriel once again found himself the recipient of Cassander's inheritance. Uriel IV's reign was a long and difficult one. Despite being a legally adopted member of the Septim family, and despite the Lariat family's high position, indeed they were distant cousins of the Septims. Few of the Elder Council could be persuaded to accept him fully as a blood descendant of Tiber. The council had assumed much responsibility during Katira's long reign and Cassander's short one, and a strong-willed alien monarch like Uriel IV found it impossible to command their unswerving fealty. Time and again, the council and the emperor were at odds, and time and again, the council won the battles. Since the days of Plagius Septim II, the Elder Council had consisted of the wealthiest men and women in the empire, and the power they wielded was conclusive. The council's last victory over Uriel IV was posthumous. Andoric Septim, Uriel IV's son, was disinherited by vote of council, and a cousin more closely related to the original Septim line was proclaimed Sepphoris II in 247 of the Third Era. For the first 9 years of Sepphoris II's reign, those loyal to Andoric Septim battled the imperial forces, in an act that the sage Arentine called Tiber Septim's heart beating no more. The council granted Andoric Septim the high rock kingdom of Schornhelm to end the war, and Andoric Septim's descendants still rule there. By and large, Sepphoris II had foes that demanded more of his attention than Andoric. From out of a Cimmerian nightmare, in the words of Arentine, a man who called himself the Cameron Usurper led an army of Daedra and undead warriors on a rampage through Valenwood, conquering kingdom after kingdom. Few could resist his onslaughts, and as month turned to bloody month in the year 249 of the Third Era, even fewer tried. Sepphoris II sent more and more mercenaries into Hammerfell to stop the usurper's northward march, but they were bribed or slaughtered and raised as undead. The story of the Cameron Usurper deserves a book of its own. It is recommended that the reader find Palix Ilthair's The Fall of the Usurper for more details. In short, however, the destruction of the forces of the usurper had little to do with the efforts of the emperor. The result was a great regional victory and an increase in hostility toward the seemingly inefficacious empire. I'm learning all sorts of words today. Uriel V, Sepphoris II's son and successor, swiveled opinion back toward the latent powers of the empire. Turning the attention of Tamriel away from the internal strife, Uriel V embarked on a series of invasions beginning almost from the moment he took the throne in 268 of the Third Era. Uriel V conquered Roscrea in 271, Cathnoque in 276, Yeneslea in 279, and Ezra Niet in 284. In 288 of the Third Era, he embarked on his most ambitious enterprise, the invasion of the continent kingdom of Akavir. This ultimately proved a failure, for 2 years later, Uriel V was killed in Akavir on the battlefield of Ionith. Nevertheless, Uriel IV holds a reputation second only to Tiber as one of the two great warrior emperors of Tamriel. The last four emperors, beginning with Uriel V's infant son, are described in the fourth and final volume of this series. All right, so that is all I have for you guys today. I will see you guys tomorrow for the writer's journey. No, tomorrow would be D&D. It'll be session 12 of Calistrong's Finest. Or is it session 13? I don't know anymore. I don't know how to count. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have an awesome day and a good night.